streaks, they haven't had a tie even. So they've gone undefeated in their last 18 games. 18 games undefeated. Or not just undefeated, perfect. 58 games undefeated.
Like clean sheets.
Yeah. Well, not clean sheets. They might have had a goal. They might have won like 2-1, something like that.
I thought you said perfect. That's what I thought.
By perfect, I mean they got 3 points.
Okay.
18 game.
Perfect. I mean something different.
18 game winning streak.
That is, bro. That.
It's the Football Prophets.
What's up today, FB family? Welcome to a new episode of Football Prophets, where two friends talk all things American soccer. I'm your host, Michelle, and I'm here with my good friend, Coach David. How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing well, Michelle. I'm excited for this episode. We kind of went through and rethought up how we do some things format-wise, so it's going to be a little different for the listener, but I think overall it's going to be a lot better.
Yeah, for sure. Like always, we were talking about it. We try to get better every week. So hopefully this works.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, awesome. I just want to say this was all his idea. So if it doesn't work, don't blame me, guys.
Next week when it's a huge success, he's going to say he had a big hand in it.
All right, awesome. As always, we have our show today with 3 parts. That doesn't change. Our first part, we're going to cover some of the game that we deem are worthy for the week. We're going to go ahead and cover, actually, go ahead and just say what game, right? So we don't surprise anybody.
Fair enough.
Yeah, all right, cool. So we're going to cover the Toronto game. They look resilient. So let's go ahead and cover them up. And then we also going to talk a little bit about SKC and St. Louis. And we have some good pointers. We have some game preview on our first part, and we also going to talk about Dante Vanzeir, his suspension. So a lot of good stuff there. That's just me pulling out the pointers. For our second part, we are going to touch on the U.S. women national team. So we're going to talk about a few things there, some of the friendly that happened, some of the game, and go from there. And then obviously for our last part, we're going to touch on other businesses where we're going to talk about the GA Cup, the Concacaf Champions League, and all that other stuff. And that should be it for our show.
Sounds good.
All right, awesome. So let's dive right in, Coach. Toronto, what do you think about them? They got that late equalizer. Looks like the place was rocking after they got that equalizer. Brought some life into them a little bit.
They did. They were playing at home to Atlanta. This Atlanta team without Thiago Almada.
Yes.
Although Gutman did come back at some point in this game as a substitute. I believe he had a groin injury, and that forced Caleb Wiley to go back to left back, where he's more of an attacking-minded player. So that was good signs for Atlanta there. Their DP number 9 got their first goal in the 4th minute to put them up.
Hasn't he been scoring?
That is his 4th game in a row with a goal.
Yes.
Which makes him the 7th player in MLS history to do so. Score 4 straight.
7.
But only the 2nd this season. So we've already had 2 this season score.
Well, this season there are a lot of prolific scorer, and as I'm talking about it, my mind is going to Jordan Morris right away.
Wasn't Morris? I think he only scored in 2 different games.
2 different games, yeah.
Do you want to try to guess? Or do you want me to just tell you?
Tell me.
Amin Bassi of Houston. He scored 3 penalty kicks in a row, and then he scored 1 from free play to make it 4 games.
It's kind of flying out of the radar. It's because of the team?
I think so. I think a lot of people, us included, weren't very high on them.
Yeah.
And they're actually doing pretty well. So, we'll see.
Dynamo.
Getting back to this game, this was a 2-2 tie. And the thing we want to talk about here is this isn't Toronto's first tie. Right? Like, they have played 8 games this season, and they have 6 ties already. They are 1-1 and 6. That's not good. Most of those ties have been when they were already winning the game, right? So they were up like 2 goals, and then they'd blow it, and they'd have a tie, right? They'd walk away with 1 point. This is a little different, where they were down I think it was 2 goals, maybe it was 1 goal, but they ended up working it back.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
and
I think they were down 1.
And then they equalized and they went down again. Yeah, I think that's how it went down.
Yeah.
And that's a good sign, but you really want this team to win.
Because and then all the acquisition they made this offseason, replacing the goalie,
when you bring in a new center back, a top level center back in Hedges, and you bring in a top level goalkeeper in Sean Johnson,
take some time, or
you expect 2 goals to be enough to win the game for you.
Yeah,
you don't expect those acquisitions to come into a team. I don't care how bad the team was before, but those 2 should be able to keep a 2-0 or make 2 goals for you.
Sean just looks different. I don't know if it's just me.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
But the thing I want to point out here is, so like I said, they already have 6 ties this season, Toronto. The MLS record for single season ties is 18, which, can you tell me the 2 teams?
Oh, yeah. Chicago and Nashville.
Yep. The 2014 Chicago and the 2021 Nashville, which I love because the record for ties is tied.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not one team held the record.
Nobody
tied
wants
for
it.
But 18 ties in a season.
Yes.
Now, I want to point out,
that's a lot.
Yeah, I did some quick maths here.
Yeah.
So 6 ties out of 8 games puts Toronto on pace for over 25 draws this season.
What are the chances?
Do you think they're going to break the record?
I think so.
They can't get 25. That's not happening. This is going to even out. They're going to get losses or wins at some point. But I think they're
okay. So I'm not going to say 25, but they might break the record. They may get 19.
I'm not against that because I think eventually this defense will settle down.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if this offense will keep scoring.
Yeah.
So once you get that combination,
Sandy's just trying to be with us.
I think she wants a little food.
Yeah.
I have to get up in a second. But once you get that combination going where the defense settles in, I think we're going to see a lot more 0-0 draws than we've been seeing 2-2 draws.
Yeah.
And I do think that they have a very real chance
because basically they only need to hit 13 more with the amount of game that they have left, and oh my goodness, that defense is the one that's going to save them, because if they don't get this taken care of, they're going to get some losses.
Yeah,
because it doesn't seem like they're winning any game.
No. Well, they've been up multiple times.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, they're not, like, winning. They're not looking like a winning form most of the time when they're making dumb mistakes. The reason why I think they might break the record was because when they equalized in the 90th minute, like, in additional time, that place went so crazy as if that was, like, their 10th goal.
Yeah, no, Toronto BMO Stadium is a great place to be. I've seen a couple games there.
They went.
It's always fun there. It's always fun there.
That was they went crazy. That was dope. All right, coach.
All right.
Let's move on. You wanted to touch on SKC a little bit. What do you have there? I don't think you should be harsh with SKC. We knew it was gonna be a very bad
but
thing.
Here's the thing with SKC that we knew they were going to be bad. Everyone knew they were going to be bad, right? But did we think that they should be this bad with their history? I'm going to take care of Sandy real quick. You want to give it a quick pump?
Yeah, let's do that, and we'll be right back, guys. And we're back after calming the boss of the house down.
Yeah. Just a quick lunch break for Sandy.
Yeah. All right.
She wasn't happy with me. Yeah. So
all right, let's keep going here. So you're talking about how we both thought SKC was going to be horrible.
Yeah, and the worry there is, why did we both think that this team, which has just historically been really good, with the exception of this season and last season, why did we both think, and all pundits think, that they were going to be so bad?
For me, it was the talent.
Right, but not just that, but why can't they bring in a number 9 that scores goals? Right, like, you bring in so many number 9s. No, they brought in so many, and they just can't find one that works for them. Right, like, that's something goes into coaching there. When you decide to keep your right winger and move him just further and further back until he's a right back, and it's not working, you're letting in goal after goal after goal, something from a coaching perspective has to change. Now,
I thought you were high on the coach.
I am. I
like
am,
him.
but I want to get into this a little bit.
Okay.
So this is currently his 15th season with SKC. That's a long time.
Long time.
Even like the best managers in the world, when we're talking Pep Guardiola's at Man City,
15 years.
we're talking they have shelf life. They want to move on. Like at some point, you lose the locker room.
Yeah, the voice
They need
doesn't.
something else in there.
Yeah.
So even the best managers in the world, like when we look at Jurgen Klopp, it's about time for him to move on. At 7, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. So my question here is Peter Vermes' era in SKC over? So I want to go over a little bit of his career so far. So in his last 14 years with SKC, so all of his career up until this season. And mind you, SKC is the first club he ever coached. He has only coached
in SKC.
in Sporting Kansas City. Well, that's not true. They were technically the Kansas City Wizards at some point in his tenure, and they changed names. But in Kansas is the only place he's coached. In those 14 years, they qualified for the playoffs 11 times. Right? They won their conference 4 times. They had 11 different winning seasons. Right? They won the MLS Cup in 2013. Right? That's really good for a small market team, right? A team that doesn't make money coming in, right? A team that doesn't have big franchise money that can bring in all these massive players, right? That is incredible, right? And he's clearly bought himself a bit of length on his leash there,
For sure.
A bit of goodwill with the club and the fans. But last season they had 11 wins, 16 losses, 7 draws, and finished 12th of 14 in the West. They are currently at 0 wins, 6 losses, and 2 draws, and well at the bottom of both conferences,
Well,
not
we
just the
thought
West,
they were going
right?
to be, yeah.
So my question here is, if no one thinks they're going to be good, right? A team that historically has been good, a playoff level team, and now it's the easiest to make the playoffs it's ever been with 9 teams making it, right? If no one thinks they're going to be good, should the executives make that decision, and should Peter Vermes be done?
I mean, logically, yes, but is it going to happen? Because you have to think about especially the time that he has spent with the club. The ownership probably likes him.
This is his 15th year.
But I'm saying the ownership probably likes him. And how much control does he really have over the roster, you know?
Probably a lot. After 15 years, he actually probably has quite a bit. A lot of managers, because all the decisions.
Yeah.
He probably has quite a bit of the decision making.
They just don't bring in good players. Like I wouldn't say good players. Like they don't bring in like crazy talent.
No,
like they don't spend money with like big.
They don't spend money at all.
Yeah. So I'll say yeah, man. If I was in that, I don't know if I'll do a mid-season. I'll probably let him ride it out, give him the respect he deserves. I'll maybe talk to him so we can make this like a farewell season, you know.
Yeah, I don't let him go in the middle of the season.
Yeah, last home game, I have like a little tribute video or something. But like, make him understand before he goes public.
And 15 is a good number.
That's what I'm saying.
Like 15
so like,
bad.
we can both agree to move on. Like I know the conversation's not gonna be easy, but have a whole week where y'all just meeting and talking and make him understand like, hey, we gotta move on, but we don't want this to be bad, you know. And I don't know, get him like a consultant gig. Try to like,
he'll find another job. I just think he needs a change of scenery, and I think this team needs.
Do you think? I don't think he want to.
No, he would.
I think he's very comfortable.
He might try his luck in some lower level European leagues, like Danish league, stuff like that. He might try going over to Europe. Like I could see that for him.
Yeah.
And if it does come to where he has to pass, then he'll move on, and I think he'll find another team. I don't see him getting out of coaching for this.
Okay, that's right. All right, cool. Well, we all agree they need to kick him out. Maybe they should hire you, Coach.
Hey, all I'm saying is my inboxes are open.
Coach David to SKC. We need
you can email the pod directly.
Get an interview. We'll do a live
Have
interview.
your people get in touch with my people.
Yeah.
My people is just my mom, so it should be really easy to communicate there.
Get.
But yeah, we can get this going. We can get this going.
Let's
SKC.
get it going. Let's get Coach David.
I guarantee you, I can't make you worse, right?
First
Like
place.
you're already last.
First place.
What do you got to lose here? I'll do it for free. I'll do it for the resume.
Just a 1 year
I'll put it,
internship.
just to have it on the CV. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Why not?
And then right after that, start demanding like 50 million a year.
You know, I'll just immediately, the second I get in the locker room, start talking about how the players aren't good enough.
Yeah.
The ownership doesn't want to spend money. Just throw everyone under the bus.
Yeah.
Go old school coach on that.
That's crazy. All right. Well, looks like we're both there. That time needs to go in the end, man. So all right. So let's go ahead and move on to St. Louis City, man. Cincinnati. I told you about this. Cincinnati is hot and cold to me.
So here's the thing.
And they didn't have most of their blood.
They didn't have their two best attacking players in Acosta and Brenner, right?
Yeah.
Brenner we'll talk about later in the trade section of this podcast. But so they didn't have those two players for.
I thought Barrial would take some of the load because he's a really good player.
I thought Barrial would have gone and played the 10 because that's more of a natural position for him than the wing guy.
Yes. But especially with like Acosta out,
but instead they put a forward in there in Santos who never really plays the 10 role. Like that just confused me. But the thing I don't want to really talk about
before we move on, I just want to say I didn't understand why you went with like a more attacking formation when we've both talked about how the way to stop St. Louis because they have all those counter attacks is to be heavy on the defense.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the philosophy there, but
and the thing that you can judge away here is saying, okay, they didn't have their two best attacking players. Well, that shouldn't mean you allow 5.
Yeah.
Right? Like that understands why you only scored 1.
Yeah, but you don't allow
1-0.
I would have stuck with that. Bring back that 4 back, and it's different thing.
But so, the thing I want to talk about here is where will St. Louis finish the season? So, I said before these last 3 games that they played, the Cincinnati game, the Seattle game, and the Minnesota game, that I wanted to see 4 points.
They got 3
minimum, 4 points minimum, and I would say they're good, right? They got 3, but they did it. They didn't do it like they tied 3. They got smacked by Seattle, and then they had a close loss against Minnesota, and then they smacked Cincinnati, right?
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of like hot and cold still.
Yeah. So the question here is, where do you think they will finish the season? It's currently they're a top
first. Yeah. I think they make the playoffs.
Okay, 9 teams make the playoffs. So let me break down the playoff format really quick.
Yeah.
9 teams make the playoffs. 8th and 9th play each other for the play-in round, right? So if you finish 9th, you'll have to play a game before anyone else does and play the 8th place team. And then you play the 1st place team, right? And that's when the playoffs really start.
Yeah.
So where in that, if we're going to break it down, we're kind of going to look at 1st through 4th as being the high seeds, 5th through 7th being the lower seeds, and then 8th and 9th as just barely making the playoffs. Because there's a very good chance that 8th and 9th, there will probably be about 5 teams come the end of the season battling for those 2 spots, all within like a point of each other.
Yes.
If we look at past seasons.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tight there.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, what of those 3 ranges do you think they're going to finish 1st through 4th, 5th through 7th, 8th to 9th, or lower?
I think they're going to be 6. I'm going to go with 6. I'm going to give a number. I'm not just going to give this, but I think they're going to be 6.
Okay, I can give it that because I put them down in 5 to 7 range.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be one of the top 4 teams.
No, they're not.
I think they're going to eventually fall off.
Bro, there's some good teams here that haven't gotten like together. Like Seattle. Seattle's probably going to finish first.
And they haven't played in LAFC yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Like San Jose.
They played San Jose.
San Jose, yeah.
Play them again.
Yeah. Did it tie or did it win?
They won.
They won, okay.
They haven't had a tie this season. They're 5 wins, 2 losses. or 6 wins, 2 losses, I think.
LA, wow, my Galaxy is so down, man.
Your Galaxy are one of the worst teams in the league.
Jesus.
But we'll talk about that later. We're going to preview their game Sunday.
Cool. So yeah, that's where we are right there with
St. Louis.
St. Louis. We think they're gonna make the playoffs.
Okay, so a very good expansion team, but not the best team in the league.
Oh no, they're far from the best in the league.
Yeah,
this is a success. This is a success.
Oh, for sure.
That coach, they're getting a bonus.
Finishing 9th would be a success for them, right? Just sneaking into the play-in rounds of the playoffs, that would be a success.
Yeah. This has been already a success. So, so the way they're going to surprise.
And they're always going to be a fun team. Like, that stadium's going to be full because they're always going to entertain, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to fail there.
Yeah, they had some good goals yesterday. The first goal, Stroud, he got the ball back. Was it a pass with the first goal? I try to remember.
No, so Stroud's first goal, it was kind of like a ball
was coming back.
It got deflected,
and then it just kicked
out, and he hit it first time.
That was a good goal. And like 3 minutes in. But all right, that's pretty much it. Let me pull this back up. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and move to the preview here. What should we call this? The Galaxy, the LA War. LA.
It already has a name, and it's called El Tráfico.
El Tráfico. How we did not know this?
So there's already a name for it. It's a band. A lot of people don't like it, but MLS deems it El Tráfico.
El Tráfico. All right. So LA's playing LAFC. What you got for us? Well, I already know LAFC's gonna win. But what you got for us?
Here's the thing with that, right? Like, derby matches are weird, right? When you play your biggest rival,
you kind of
like Seattle. Like, if you're looking at Seattle-Portland, Seattle is a far better team this season than Portland is.
But they'll get out for it.
But they got smacked by Portland last night, right? So, could we see LA stun them? I don't think so, but I'm not saying it's out of the picture in a derby match.
So, who do you think has the city, LA Galaxy or LAFC?
What do you mean has the city?
Who does the city love more?
Oh, it's definitely going to be LAFC now. The only people that stuck with LA are the true diehards.
That's what I'm
right.
But it's kind of like that Lakers Clippers.
Yeah, but the rest of the city that is just like
that's like
let's go watch a match once.
I'm not counting them. Those people don't count.
Well, they should because they're the ones that fill most of the stadiums.
I guess.
Right, like that. They're the majority of soccer fans.
We need Ibra back. Bring that man back. Ibrahimovic. Zlatan. We need him back.
But yeah, so I think LAFC, they should wipe the floor with LA, right?
They should, yeah.
But you never know.
Yeah.
But it is worth noting, though, that LA is currently in the middle of protests. They really hate their club president, Chris Klein. And they've been doing all these protests. They haven't been coming into the stadium very much, right? So even though it's technically going to be a home game for LA, it might not feel that way, right? Like, it might feel like an LAFC game with potentially more LAFC fans in the stadium.
Yeah.
Picking up those tickets that I'm sure LA fans are selling. But it was interesting, though. Chris Klein, he made a statement on his Instagram maybe a few days ago and essentially said, if we don't advance in the playoffs, then I will resign. You don't have to do all these protests. I'll resign. But now it's the easiest way to make the playoffs, 8th, 9th. The question here is, does qualifying for the play-in round and winning the play-in round, does that count as advancing in the playoffs, winning a play-in round? Or does he have to win a play-in round or advance past or automatically qualify higher and then move on? Some
people does qualify to play-in as a playoff because it's like the regular season is over.
I guarantee you a guy fighting for his job is going to consider it.
Playoff. Because I'm still giving you guys a chance. Now you just got to go win.
Yeah, your season isn't over like the other 16 teams in the league.
I think it's counting the playing, man. I'll call it the playing too.
But can you imagine, like, who in their right mind looks at these massive protests going on about them and says, if I do the bare minimum, I'm staying? Like, this is LA Galaxy. Advancing one round in the playoffs, that's not success. That's not success. They need to be competing. Last season, at the end of last season, they were talking about this season wanting to be Shield winners. They wanted to be first place.
Because right now, whoever is on top of them on their road to make the playoff, it's Salt Lake, Colorado, and Austin. They're better than Austin. I can say that.
They lost to Austin in the playoffs last year.
I'll say they're better than Austin, though. And they're definitely better than Salt Lake.
Or no, they didn't. They didn't lose to Austin. They lost to LAFC in the playoffs, and LAFC ended up beating Austin.
You think they're better than Salt Lake? Yes.
I think talent-wise, yeah, but they're not playing better.
Okay,
they're playing.
This is only what 8 games, 9 games in.
And they looked really bad in big chunks last season. They just hit a heater in the last half of the season.
Okay, so your life depends on it. Do you bet on LA or Salt Lake?
If they're playing head-to-head?
Yeah.
Or just in the end of the game? Or
just that a full 90 minutes.
I think I would take RSL.
Your life depends on it?
LAFC can't figure out how to get goals right now. Chicharito.
LA Galaxy.
No, Chicharito, LAFC. But LAFC knows how to get goals. Right, they got that figured out. The LA Galaxy, they don't know how to get goals right now. They have 3 really good strikers. They can't figure out a formation to get one of them going. They don't have it there. Ricky Puig is not doing the things he did last season. They are looking disjointed. RSL has less quality players, but they are making it work. Even though they're bad, their games look better.
They look like a complete team.
And they can play defense.
Okay.
The biggest concern about LA Galaxy last year was their center backs. They improved all over the field, but they didn't get center backs.
Okay. So let's move on fast here. Your life depends on it again. Colorado Rapids or LA Galaxy. Which one are you picking?
0-0 tie. I would draw that game.
You dead.
No.
Somebody has to win.
No, they don't. This is MLS. You can get draws.
But no, someone has to win for you to stay alive.
Then I would say Colorado. They have a better defense.
Yeah. Okay, Austin and LA Galaxy.
Again, I think LA actually could get up on that one. But if you put a gun to my head, I would put Austin.
Oh.
They've proven it already this season.
So last one, and then we can move on. LA Galaxy and Kansas City.
Oh, I take LA.
You take LA. So the only team that LA Galaxy is better than at this point in the MLS is SKC.
And in the Western Conference. The other closest one would be Austin in my mind.
Okay.
When I'm not just looking at where they are in the standings, but it's like how these teams play.
They only have
each other
3 points,
and how that game would open up with the formations and tactics they play.
They need Chicharito back.
He is back.
He's back.
He's back. He's just not doing anything.
I can't even feel that he's back.
No, he's back. He'll be playing in El Tráfico. But we should probably move. Oh, actually, wait. So what is your score prediction for LAFC LA?
2-0 LAFC.
Okay, I'm gonna go 3-1 LAFC.
Same difference.
Yeah.
Same differential. I mean, 2 goal. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and move on to our Brenner. You wanted to bring him up?
That's Brenner. I had a different one on the list. First. We're going to Montreal.
I'm moving a little too fast.
Montreal and Miami straight.
Yeah. But look at you calling me out.
Yeah. Let's go. I already had the tab up, so I wasn't about to switch tabs for you.
It's all right. Yeah. All right, cool. So go ahead and that. So there's a trade that happened, and you think that this may be deeper than just this trade.
Yeah. And this is, when you're looking at this is how whoever made this decision in Montreal and finalized this deal should get fired immediately. There's a very real chance that this will be considered, come the end of the season, the worst trade in MLS history.
In MLS history.
So I'm going to tell you this.
Miami. That's bold.
Miami got Kamal Miller, who was one of the better young defenders in the league last year. I think he's 25, 26, right?
Yeah.
He's a Canadian national team starter, right? He hadn't had a good start to the season, but last season he was phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
He's just having a slump, and the whole team is having a big slump. It's not just him.
Yeah,
right?
Montreal's
they lost their coach, and they are dying. So it's not just him, right? So they got rid of a very good
young talent.
domestic center back because you're only allowed so many international players, and Canadians count as domestic players. So they got rid of a very young and talented domestic center back, which is massive in this league, right?
Yeah.
And they got Bryce Duke and Ariel Lassiter. Bryce Duke is an okay, both of those players are young. Bryce Duke is an okay number 10. In reality, he's probably a bench player. He'll probably end up starting for this Montreal team.
Yeah.
But most teams in the league, he'll be a bench player that has potential for the future.
Yeah.
And then Ariel Lassiter is 100% bench player and an attacking player, right?
Yeah.
He is not a starter. So, and then there is $1.3 million in GAM, general allocation money. All right. Now, when I first heard this, I assumed that Montreal got both Bryce Duke, Ariel Lassiter, and $1.3 million for Kamal Miller. And I said to myself, I don't love it for
not bad.
Montreal, but it's an okay
not
trade.
Bad, yeah.
But I was wrong. The $1.3 million Montreal gave to Miami. So Montreal said,
looks like
have
trying to
one of the best young defenders
and here's money.
Have $1.3 million, and we'll take 2 bench players.
You think they're setting up for something?
What in the world is going on there? So now I want to look at, I want to take
maybe locker room issues that we don't know.
Don Garber has said, so for those of you that don't know, Don Garber is the commissioner of MLS, right? And Inter Miami are linked to trying to sign. They're one of 3 teams in consideration for Lionel Messi this summer. All right. On top of that, they also want to bring in a former teammate of his, Sergio Busquets, right? To do so, Don Garber has essentially said and hinted at that this isn't going to be just on the weight of Inter Miami. This is a signing because almost all players in this league, they're signed to the league, and then the league gives them to teams, right?
Yeah.
So it's like all teams are going to have to get in on bringing Messi into this league. Like Miami can't afford it on themselves, right? So it'll be spread across all the other teams, those fees and stuff, right? And the teams would be willing to do so because Messi comes in, that brings TV ratings up. You get more money in the long run from having a player of Messi's quality. Yeah, so you get more money in the long run of having a player of Messi's name and stature in the game come into the league, even though he's not playing for your team.
Yeah.
Right? So is this just Montreal really taking one for the team?
Yeah. Just
saying,
like,
have $1.3 million in GAM so that way you can buy down your current DP or one of your current DPs into a TAM level player, so that way you can afford 2 DPs in Sergio Busquets. Like, there's no other way that this makes sense other than Montreal saying, you're already trash, you're in our conference,
and we will play you
after Messi would come in. Let's just do this. Like, it's the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life.
But I wouldn't put it past the MLS. I wouldn't put it past.
But the thing is, like, I don't know. I don't see it. I mean, just give them $1.3 million in GAM for Bryce Duke and Ariel Lassiter. You don't have to throw Kamal Miller going in. Doesn't help them financially.
That's what
Messi.
Yeah, I mean,
so just give them $1.3 million for Bryce Duke and Ariel Lassiter. That's generous.
Doesn't that lay like the salary impact is different for those players compared to what they were paying Bryce, right?
Kamal Miller is definitely on a higher salary than them.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, don't bring in Kamal Miller. That won't matter. Those salaries won't matter because what we're talking about is how you can pay for the salary of Messi.
Okay.
So other players' salaries don't matter here. They're already below a certain limit threshold, so they don't matter. But what I'm saying is, okay, just give them $1.3 million in GAM for Bryce Duke, Ariel Lassiter.
But don't send...
And then keep one of the best young domestic center backs in the league.
Yeah.
Your team is already trash. Don't make it worse. And you know what? I think many people, if you just
I don't understand why they'll probably do it.
They probably would. Yeah. I mean, Bryce Duke currently is playing for Inter Miami because of injuries.
Because if they're really trying to take one for the team, they could have just done it that way. And then now they got the money and they got rid of their 2 mediocre players, and that's good.
Yeah, this is the most insane thing I've ever heard of.
Hey, some people just get played, man. That could also be a possibility that maybe they just got played.
My thing is though here, so I assume this is Inter Miami going to Montreal and saying, this is our package, take it or leave it, right?
Yeah.
And they made the offer. I'm assuming, right? If I am Montreal and I see that, why wouldn't I just take a screenshot of that and send it to every other executive in the league and be like, this is their offer. We're willing to part ways with Kamal Miller. We're willing to give money. But can you beat Bryce Duke and Ariel Lassiter?
Just sit back,
right?
Like just sit back and let the bidding work, because
it's the best option.
Because I'm sure Toronto could have used them.
100%.
Yeah. I'm sure Toronto would have said everybody, just the whole bench.
Like I don't understand how this was the best option. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I want to see, now that you said that, I want to see who allowed that deal to go through, because they could have just done it that way. Hey, this is what we have. I'm giving everybody like 48 hours. Bring me your best offer, or else I'm pulling this with Miami. And just sit back and let your phone ring.
There's just no way that they did that, and this ended up being the best offer.
They
clearly didn't do anything.
They didn't do it.
Right?
They just took the offer and be like, I'm off at 5. Just say yes.
What is going
Dude
on?
was trying to get home to his family, man. He says, just to prove it, I got to go home. I've been working overtime.
Essentially, long story short, before we move off of this, I just want to say that Montreal Impact, or Club de Foot Montreal as they've rebranded themselves, well, you know what? No, you suck.
Like that.
You suck. You are getting called Montreal Impact. I'm wagging my finger at a computer screen right now. I'm letting it know how angry I am. I'm not calling you Club de Foot. You didn't deserve that. You are going to be called the Impact, and you are a hot dumpster fire.
My goodness.
All right, let's move on to Brenner.
All right, well,
I'm like, my heart rate is going, man. I'm heated.
If you ever need to hire consultants before you let a trade go through, please see my man Coach David, and
I will yell at you. I will tell you are the dumbest idiot in the history of dumb idiots.
We have a trade consultant here. We're starting a good position with us. Call us. But all right, cool. So let's go ahead and move to Brenner. Anything you want to say on that? Anything dumb that you want to call out on that?
Well, so it looks like it is finalized. I'm not sure if new reports have come in, but pending a medical, last I saw, it is done. Brenner to Udinese, who are a Serie A team, lower end Serie A team. This is a move that almost happened last transfer window, fell apart. They offered $9 million, it fell apart, right? So Brenner came into the league at $13 million. So they paid $13 million for him. The only dumb thing I'll say about this is they're only getting back 10. So they're technically losing money. But there are bonuses and add-ons and stuff like that. So if he hits certain landmarks, scores certain goals, plays certain amount of games, they get more money.
You get it back here.
And it will probably end up being more than that 13 million was.
Yeah.
So long run, they could probably make some money off of a player who really only performed for half of a season.
Yeah.
Right? He had a horrible first season, a horrible first half of last season where he didn't score a goal, and then scored 16 goals in the second half of last season. And now this season, I don't believe he has a goal yet. Right? I think his first goal would have been the one that got called back for a penalty that Acosta finished a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So really just half a season of decency and then a season and a half of crap, right? And they're essentially making their money back. I think that's fair.
Today?
Yeah, that's fair.
Dude,
okay, a $13 million player doesn't really score for his first 18 months in the league. That's not good. I'm not going to call that anything but crap.
All right.
But so he's gone.
Yeah.
But that transfer, even though it'll be finalized now, will not go through until the summer. Right? So we're talking.
So does that mean is this still?
So he is going to be a FC Cincinnati player up until about halfway through. He'll probably leave during the Leagues Cup break. So the regular season he will play up until that Leagues Cup break would be my assumption.
Okay.
But he was not in the team last week. I'm assuming he was in Italy getting his physicals done.
Yeah.
Finalizing paperwork. But so he did not play last week, but he will be back. He will not leave until the next transfer window opens.
Yeah, he's probably ready to go. So,
but also, what does this say? So now, thinking as a player, right? you have a few months before you go and you get to play in one of the top 5 leagues.
I was going to ask how
are you going to go in on 50-50 challenges? Are you going to want to potentially risk injury?
Yeah.
No, you're going to sit back and relax just a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I think even the team will do that.
And he's already not playing well.
Yeah, even the team will pull you as because they already know, hey, might as well start building our chemistry with.
You know what? I'm sorry. I said he didn't score. I'm pretty sure he scored against Seattle. I'm pretty sure one of the back passes playing out the back that Seattle did, he picked it off and put it in for a goal. So I think that's his only goal. I should probably do my research and be a good host of the show, but we're just going to say he has 1 goal now.
Let's go with that. All right, awesome. So with that, let's move on to Dante Vanzeir suspension. 6 games, coach. What? I think that's, I don't want to use big words, so I'll just say that's not enough.
No, that's trash.
That's not enough.
That's
kind
trash.
of atrocious.
Like,
it's kind of a joke.
When you say,
he makes it. Like the thing is that from what I read is that he said it.
He said it. He didn't say the context,
but he said it.
And I really don't know if context matters here. I really don't.
He said it.
But so yeah, you are a league. You say you have a 0 tolerance for racism, yet every single
the keyword was 0 tolerance.
Yes, every single time something racist happens in this league, they can't find enough on it. They can't say definitively, and the players are only suspended up and through the investigation. So if you're looking at last season, DC United's player who we talked about a little bit, Taxi Fontas, he had a racial incident. The league said, we don't believe him. We believe the player that made the allegations against him. We just can't find proof of it. So they let him continue to play. Yeah. And he missed the last 2 games of the season because there was an investigation going on, right? Yeah. But now he's back. He's playing. He's starting.
Yeah.
That kind of goes to what we were talking about last episode of, can you kick a guy out without having the proof? Can you take players' words for it, right?
Yeah.
And currently the MLS is saying no. But now they have a player coming to them and saying, I said it.
Yeah.
And your 0 tolerance is 6 games?
Apparently the coach at that moment had enough information to also sit him out, right?
Wayne Rooney sat Taxi Fontas out last season.
I'm
Struber
saying
did not sit out.
No, but I'm saying that he had enough information that he could have sat him out.
He could have.
Yeah. So not only the player, but I'm looking at the organization. Are they going to do something? Because now you have one of the best thing I love about coaches, right? Coaches are people's people. Coaches understand how to manage people. Like, you can sit someone not for the good or bad of them, but you understand the dynamic on how that affects not just your team, but everyone that's watching, right? One of the great things that you did was we had an episode one time and we had to change our whole rundown the day before because it was an incident with your kids, right? And you wanted to talk about it and you wanted to address it. You wanted to let other coaches be aware. So that's what I see in a coach. So when I see a coach not being proactive on the sideline, it's like, are you really a coach?
Yeah, that's not good.
You know, like should we look into educating that coach a little bit on like, you should know how to look at things and kind of know how to manage situations.
And not just that,
you know,
take racism seriously, right? Like, this might not be an issue of him being a good man manager, but does he care that there was a racist incident, right? Does he actually care? Because also, I should probably pull up his apology here.
I heard he was one of the, I didn't read it. I didn't want to read it because I heard he was one of that there's just the lowest of low statements. Just, hey, I'm sorry. And that's what I heard. Just like regular.
He didn't even
like apologizing for someone like stepping on your shoe. My bad, bro. And moving on. That's kind of what I heard. I didn't read it because I didn't want to. I didn't want to get it.
No, essentially, he said, knowing what I know now, I should have subbed the player. That would have been the best option. He never said apologies. He never said, I'm sorry if I offended anyone. There was no apology in his apology. But the thing is, he clearly knew what he knows now because his goalkeeper, Carlos Cornell, was clearly upset and yelling at him.
And the thing is,
and he was just kind of waving off his goalkeeper.
The thing is also, is like Ababasi went to talk to him after the game. If you look at
middle
that,
of the game.
yeah, even at the end, they after the game, Ababasi went to him and had that conversation.
Yeah.
So the fact that his statement was just that, not even saying, "Hey,
it's bad."
that's on me," because people clearly came and talked to you about what was going. At that point, coach, as a coach, what would you have done? Let me just ask you that. What would you have done?
He wouldn't have just been subbed off. He would have been sent to the locker room because I wouldn't have wanted his face being seen by people, right? Like, he would have been sent to the locker room. A coach would be in there with him, talking to him, trying to figure out what's going on, but he wouldn't be on the sidelines.
Simple as that. Simple as that. So, first of all, I think maybe indefinitely would have been a little harsh. I see that, but give me at least 50, like 10. Give me 2-digit. At least.
So this is what I want to bring up here. So, Mitrovic playing in the Premier League for Fulham, right? He shoved a referee, and it wasn't incredibly hard. It was more of a referee was walking away. He was trying to get the referee's attention because he thought there should have been a card on the play, and he does one of these, kind of like that.
Yeah.
8-game suspension.
8 games.
Are we saying, as a soccer community, that
is worse
than calling someone a racist?
That's what we're saying, because we went from zero tolerance to
a whole lot of tolerance. A whole lot, like 98%
zero
tolerance.
I remember when my parent was like, "Michelle, zero tolerance." You sat down. Like, zero tolerance is zero tolerance started scaring me that you might be out for the season. And like, I also see, okay, we're gonna miss a play, but I'm like, that might be like, this is important thing. This is racism.
Very important.
This is racism, So what message are we sending now? So what message has been sent?
Yeah, it's not good, right? Like,
and then so players now know I can come out and say, "Oh yeah, I said it,"
and get really nothing, because what is 6 games in a 34-game regular season, right? That's what, roughly...
That's a rest. He's just rest.
17-ish%. I'm trying to do the math here on my computer really quick.
That's just rest, because he's going to come back. He's probably going to train, and he's going to come back and have
so
legs.
17.6% there. So let's call that 18% of the season gone, right? That means he still has 82% of the season. So zero tolerance would mean he played 0% of a season. This is 82% tolerance, if you ask me, right? Like, this isn't zero tolerance.
All I'm saying is, watch it happen the other way, man. One of these days.
Oh, he'd be gone.
Watch it happen one the other way. And this is where for people who don't understand somewhat, where maybe it's not existent, but somewhat when black people will say it, or anybody will say privileged, that's what that looks like.
Yeah.
That's what that looks like. So MLS, they just did what everybody does. I'm not even mad at them. This happened.
Let me ask you a question here.
Yeah.
So let's say, I hate to do this because it's going to sound like I'm calling Bryce Deuce or Bryce or what is his name? Bryce Deuce? Bryce Duke. Thank you. I was messing up there. Bryce Duke. No, the player that got transferred just now that we were talking.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Let's say Bryce Duke, who is a borderline starter in this league. Some teams he would start for, some teams he wouldn't. Let's say Bryce Duke used a racial slur. Do you think he would have a bigger than 6-game suspension? Like, this exact same scenario happened. It's just Bryce Duke instead of their big name DP, league's golden boy coming into the league. Do you think that it would be a bigger suspension?
I'll say I don't know.
I'm leaning towards yes. I think part of this is Dante Vanzeir. And his status in the game.
I don't know, man. See, that's very different, because they move different in the league, right? They have different. That's a name that everybody want to see, and you're young, so they're probably gonna. But from my perspective, now that I'm looking at it on this side, and also adding that I'm black, dude, it's like, I don't know.
All right, let's change this up a little bit. Lionel Messi comes, and turns out
that man ain't getting no game, man.
Messi wouldn't get banned.
That man ain't getting no game, right? Man. No games. You probably get, the investigation will go on. They'll do a public apology, and you probably wear a shirt in the game or something. They'll figure something.
And then, so
you're right. I see where you're going.
Yeah. So
I see where you go.
The question here is, why do we both think that the status of the player matters? And that's because they decided to give him a 16 ban. If they gave him a 15, 20 game ban, I think we would both agree that maybe Messi would get a punishment. Right? Maybe the best player in the league.
Yeah, because that's
would get
what I'm saying now. What is it? That is like the precedent and the message being sent is that there now are some player that may say, yes, I said it and get away with it.
Yeah, I don't like this at all.
And that's the message that was sent.
And
because now even players that you come out and come hard on can appeal it. Because they can be like, well, what's different between with what I said, so.
And so not only do we not like it, the fans of New York Red Bulls do not like it. Their supporter sections.
Oh, yeah.
There are 3 different supporter sections. They all came together and they released a joint statement saying that this is bad and we are protesting. And the supporter section of Red Bull Arena was empty. At least at the beginning of the game. At the end of the game, some player or some people in the higher up sections kind of migrated down to the nicer seats.
Yeah.
Right? But good on them. But this shouldn't be a fan thing standing up to this. This should be something that the league dealt with swiftly.
Yeah, from what I heard as well, that there's a player commission, because apparently there's like a black player commission in the MLS.
I believe Jeremy Abobas is the president.
Yeah.
I think
so. So this is raising the thing where they really have to think about it. Do they really want to go to war? And trying to, but that's what it comes down to. That's why you're going to notice sometimes people just going to look at it and be like, they're probably going to say, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
So
it's annoying. It's frustrating.
Yeah. All right.
Hopefully protests end up making a bigger suspension, but I doubt it.
I doubt it. This is they already put it on 6 games. So all right, awesome. So that does it for our first part. We are going to stop here and we'll be back for our second part. Stay tuned and we'll be right back.
It's the football.
And we are back for a second part here where we're going to touch on the women's U.S. women national team, man. They had a friendly game with the Republic of Ireland. The R's are getting me.
Okay.
It's the R's.
Let's move.
We gotta roll the R's, man. But
you gotta roll the R's. They're Irish. Roll R's.
He just was trying to go. Okay. So Mallory Swanson injury, we're gonna talk about that a little bit. Young, promising player. Looks like we're going to be missing her. And then also the upcoming World Cup in Australia this summer. And then incredible form. I have no idea what that is. You think they have they're playing good?
We're gonna go into
incredible form.
So
I'm trying to figure out what you meant by it.
We'll start here. So I did a deep dive of the women's national team. And I just went through every single game they had, and I went until I found a loss. Do you want to have any guess as to when their last loss was?
Let me take a guess. The women's national team are a freaking machine. Let's say that first.
And this is all competition. So World Cups, She Believe Cups, Friendlies, all competition.
I'll bet my money on 2 years ago.
2 years ago, so roughly April 2021 is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Let's go with January 19th, 2019.
My Jesus.
Over 4 years without
all they do is win.
So their last loss was January 19th, 2019 versus France.
If I'm the coach, that's the song I'm playing every time. All I do is win.
So with that, that is 58 games undefeated. Not just 58 games undefeated, right? They went 52 wins. So 52 0-6. Now, whoa, that's dominant.
The women national team or something else. No jokes. I mean, I think everybody that watches just soccer knows that.
Now that's what I would call dominant form. But when we get into
incredible form, that makes sense now.
That's when you hear they have, in their last 58 games, outscored their opponents. You want to guess to how much they...
Wait. You mean like since 2019 or just per game?
Since 2019, since their last loss. So then all of their 58 games.
I'll say 100 goals.
They have scored 203 goals in 58 games and allowed 14.
Golly!
203 to 14, which I did the math here.
Bro, that's a buzzer.
I did the math here. That averages out to being them scoring on your average game 3.5 goals and allowing a quarter of a goal.
Not even a whole goal.
A quarter of a goal again. I want to point out though, there were some ones, like I believe it was Thailand, they beat 13-0, and you can think, oh well, okay, so the friendlies pad their stats. No. That wasn't 13-0 in a friendly. That was 13-0 in a World Cup. Jeez. The biggest competition
in that war.
They beat a team 13-0?
And yo, this is dominance, man. This is just insane.
Not just that. So there's 6 ties, right? Like,
you know what? Now I'm starting to. I feel bad for them, though. You know what I'm saying? That is because of how great. Now I'm starting to understand. Like, I knew they were dominant, but now that when you look at numbers, it's just different, right? Now that you look at the numbers and we're able to kind of break it down like that, you like. Now I wonder why they were going on TV and asking for more pay.
Right? When you're that good. But no, it's not just that.
Yeah.
So in their streaks, they haven't had a tie even. So they've gone undefeated in their last 18 games. 18 games undefeated. So not just undefeated, perfect. 58 games undefeated.
Like clean sheets.
Yeah. Well, not clean sheets. They might have had a goal. They might have won like 2-1, something like that.
I thought you said perfect. That's why.
Well, by perfect, I mean they got 3 points.
Oh, okay.
18 game
perfect. I mean something different.
18 game winning streak.
That is
incredible.
That is it. Like, I don't think people understand when we like. I think some people do, but let me retell you. That is insane. And like the goals, 200 and what? 214?
203 to 14.
And then only allowing 14 goals from opponent. Like, that's like when your dad plays with you when you're like 5.
That might be worse. This might be worse.
This might be worse. Like you are 2 years old.
They beat a team 13-0 in the World Cup.
In the World Cup, man.
But okay, so all of that form. Let's bring this to a tie here. Well, we're talking about World Cups. They won the last 2, right? 2 in a row. They are heavy favorites for this next World Cup, which comes this summer.
Yeah.
Like a few months here. If they win it, which I'm not going to jinx them and say they will, but if they win it and they are the heavy favorites, they will be the only team in both men's and women's soccer history to have gone back to back to back.
They're going to do that Michael Jordan three-peat.
So, like, incredible there. Opportunity.
What do you think their chances are?
Of winning the whole tournament?
Oh, yeah, reality
50,
to like
50.
Okay, if they don't, who do you think can?
The England team is okay. The Australian team isn't bad.
I think
Brazil has a pretty good. So Japan has a pretty good.
So as they're running up to that, I think we should like start comparing them to other countries, see how good.
So with that, they recently won the She Believes Cup.
Yeah,
which we talked about on the show.
Yeah.
And in that was Japan, Brazil, and there was another country. But both of those 2 teams that I just mentioned, Japan and Brazil, are high-level favorites in this tournament.
Yeah.
And they beat them. They didn't die.
They're something else, man. I knew it was...
They have been recently beating some of the best teams in the world. So I would say, honestly, because anything can happen in tournaments. You have a bad game, another team has a great game, and it's a long tournament, right?
Yeah.
I would say 50-50.
Yeah. But I've also never seen any team, rather in a man or woman's, as like U.S. women national team gets up for the World Cup. Like, you can see that in their eye that every time they're playing the World Cup, they're there to put a show.
Yeah.
Like, they don't mess around with the World. Like, I'm sure they can lose other games friendly, but when it comes down to the World Cup, they don't mess around, man.
Yeah, and I want to get into their 2 most recent friendlies. So, last week they played 2 games against Ireland, right? They played on the 8th of April and the 11th of April. So 3 days apart, right? And these are just friendlies, kind of getting ready for the World Cup. Ireland did qualify for the first time in a long time for the Women's World Cup. So it's a World Cup level team, right? They have another friendly, I believe, against Wales coming up right before the World Cup, so this summer.
Yeah.
That's going to be their last game before the World Cup starts, this Wales game.
Yeah.
Coming up in a few months here. But these two games, they won 2-0 and they won 1-0. The thing I want to point out here is the way you win, right? When you have long streaks on, there's going to be time in a 58-game period where your forwards just aren't doing it, right?
Yeah.
Your goal scorers aren't doing it. And those are games when you see lesser teams tie, when you see lesser teams lose 1-0, right? Because their forwards just aren't scoring goals. That's natural, right?
Yeah.
Well, these two games, they scored 3 goals. One of which was a penalty, which was converted by a forward.
Mm-hmm.
The other 2 were run-of-play goals scored by defenders, including the April 11th game winner, make it 1-0 by Alana Cook, who scored like a 40-yard goal in the 43rd minute. 40 yards out, just hits it. I think she was trying to cross the ball, and because there are 4 players kind of in the 6-yard box, I think she was just trying to find a head. When it just went right in.
Yeah.
Right?
40
so
yards.
When you have not just your forwards doing the job,
but you have
defenders scoring goals.
Let's just say the whole team
everything is going your way,
capable of putting in the net.
Right? They say when a forward is in form, right, and he's just kind of on a hot one.
Yeah.
That like the ball, like they'll score when they don't mean to score. The ball will come off their shin and it will find the back of it, right? It will hit off their backside of their head and find the back of their head, right?
I've seen that.
The U.S. women's national team isn't doing that with just forwards. They're doing that with
everybody.
Every single player on their team is in form, going to get a win no matter what. Doesn't matter.
They've been doing that for what? Going on 4 years now.
Yeah, it's incredible, right?
What they eating? What's their diet?
Incredible. So
I'm trying to figure out where they eating, where they shopping. Like, for real. That's insane. The man needs to take a page out of that.
Now, it wasn't all, glory, hallelujah for this women's team in its last 2 friendlies. There was a very notable injury to Mallory Swanson. I'm going to read something here from Pro Soccer Wire, which is a format of USA Today Sports. The U.S. women's national team star was diagnosed with a torn patellar tendon after a collision with Ireland defender Mannion. I'm not going to try to pronounce the first name there, but Mannion is the last name. Eventually saw her stretchered off in Saturday's 2-0 win. Neither Swanson nor U.S. Soccer has provided a recovery timeline just yet. Patellar tendons tend to come with a roughly 6-month rehab course, which would rule Swanson out for the 2023 World Cup. This was going to be her World Cup, right? She's 24, young, superstar.
Kind of get on the
goal in, putting the ball in the net for fun, right? Like, this was going to be her World Cup to dominate. But the thing is, so she comes out. Who comes in? No other than Trinity Rodman, the next young superstar.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there is so much depth in this team that, yes, losing one of your best goal scorers will suck for a tournament. But, like, are we really going to see a big let-off? Right? Like,
not really.
When you have the forwards of Alex Morgan, Trinity Rodman, you have Lindsay Horan, like, you have all these amazing players.
How old is Alex Morgan,
Probably about 30.
Okay.
I guess
would this be like a last World Cup?
Potentially. I mean, if I was a coach, I would probably make this her last. I think she probably still has more to give, but you have so much young talent in the U.S. pool here. You got to start integrating.
As you're talking, I'm thinking about it, man. I'm playing a couple co-ed leagues. I mean, we do that at fun. I think it's just like America has a lot of talented women soccer player.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, like, when we played, like, there was like 2 girls on our team. They were alright. They're alright.
Yeah, and there were teams that, like, we played against where
there was
some of the best players on their team, or the best players on the field were women.
Yeah. There was one I remember. She had like the curly hair. She was freaking getting it.
She played D1 college.
She did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You remember her too, right?
Yeah, she played D1. She was a baller.
So really, like, I think it's just America. You're right. This probably more than last year because there's a lot of talent with that.
Yeah, but
And the men are struggling to know who their forward is.
right. Just bringing Alex Morgan. That's the solution.
Just transfer her.
She would probably do it.
She'll do it. I mean, yeah. All right. So looks like you said she's out for this season.
Well, out until the summer, and that
Yeah.
are out for the World Cup most likely, unless she's a freak of nature
And makes the recovery.
On the soccer field.
Yeah.
But yeah, really impressive form from the U.S. Women's National Team, and it's one of those things where a star player goes down injured, and the next woman up is a star. So
Yeah.
they're gonna.
So they have no shortage pretty much. But yeah, hey, we gonna keep up with them for sure. I want to know how good they do throughout the World Cup. So we are going to cover them. I cannot wait for the World Cup, man.
Man, the World Cup and the Gold Cup for the men's side, right? So the Women's World Cup and the Men's Gold Cup are happening pretty much at the same time. That is going to be the best.
Have some legacy time.
And you know who's one of the cities that's hosting a Gold Cup game?
Who?
Cincinnati. So we'll probably be in a stadium for one of the.
Let's go. Let's go.
Fun.
Let's do it, man.
But
Hey.
unfortunately, we will not be able to make it to a Women's World Cup this time around, as it is out in Australia.
Yeah. Hey, if y'all subscribe, maybe all this day.
If you want to bless us with a few first-class tickets to Australia,
I'm just saying, start hitting that subscribe button, guy. You know, we might make it to there, get some pictures for you guys.
we got 6 months. We got 6 months. We got
guys.
last time we had 3 months. We had 3 months.
This is America, man. Nothing is impossible.
All right, fair enough. Let's do it.
You know why I left my country and came here? Because it's America. Anything can happen.
Well, I assume you didn't come here because of Mexico. Like, you would have gone on the wrong exit. Like, if you thought it was any other country, it would be wrong. You know why I came to America? You know why I came to America? Because it's India. No. Chris Columbus, he was wrong. He was wrong. It's not India.
All right, I think this is going to be a good stop for us. And we'll be back for our third
Or
part.
how many people just tuned out?
That was just left.
It's the
All right, awesome. We are back for our final and third part, where we're going to be covering the GA Cup and the Concacaf Champions League. GA Cup looks like we need to bow down.
Yeah, all hail.
All hail.
Yeah.
The U-17 though. Don't just say Philadelphia Union.
So
U-17.
I want to point out here. So we already went over the GA Cup and some of the earlier rounds of the knockout stages pretty in-depthly, right? But the Philadelphia Union Academy has been known for a long time to be one of, if not the absolute best academy in North America, right? And really started to trend towards the world, right? In this GA Cup, both the U15s and the U17s made it to the finals.
Yeah.
Right? The U15s won, or the U17s won 1-0 against FC Dallas, who is the other team in this country that you could consider having one of the best, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're making an argument that FC Dallas has a more historic and higher level academy program than Philadelphia, I could get with that. If you wanted to say Philadelphia was better than FC Dallas's academy, I could get with that, right?
Yeah. Either or, there's no right answer. Yeah.
So Philadelphia Union beat FC Dallas at the U17 level to win the cup. And then let's go over to the U15 bracket.
Yes.
They lost on penalties, 7-6. It was 1-1 regular time and then 7-6 in penalties.
Yeah.
That's a lot of penalties.
That's a lot. They didn't want to quit.
And they lost to Austin.
Yeah.
Right? So I want to point out here that there are 4 MLS teams that made it to the finals. The only 4 teams that made it to a final are MLS teams. And this is in a tournament that has the likes of Real Madrid's academies, the likes of Arsenal's academy, Valencia's academy.
Yes.
So
this is good news for the MLS.
That's something special there, right?
Yeah.
But with that, and Austin winning the U-15 GA Cup, that is their second trophy in history.
Yes.
Right? They have won this, and they have also won Copa Tejas, which is essentially a competition just between the Texas teams in MLS. So pretty much whoever does the best of the 3 Texas teams head-to-head during the regular season of MLS, right? So it's a kind of a one-off little tournament.
Yeah.
There's the Cascadia Cup that's between the Sounders, Portland and Vancouver. There's the Heritage Cup, that's the Sounders and San Jose. There's one between the New York teams. Like this is a thing, right? I think there's the Rocky Mountain Cup between Colorado and RSL. So it's not just Texas is weird doing their own thing.
Yeah,
this is a pretty big standard throughout the league in different geographical areas. So it's a real fake trophy. Right, it's not a trophy that the league recognizes, but the fans recognize. Right, it's essentially a fan trophy.
Yeah, it's a fan trophy.
But so yeah, Austin FC 2 trophies, and let's hope to get a real one soon.
Let's do that. Let's do that. All right, awesome. So let's go ahead and move to the Concacaf Champions League. Well, my heart is broken because fairy tale don't exist in real life. Which sucks. Disney has messed me up because I really thought Violet was gonna go on here. Just keep winning. Bring that tree with them.
Yep. I sent you a picture of the tree. Did you ever see that?
I saw the picture of the tree.
It's a good tree.
Amazing.
It's a nice tree.
That's a majestic tree. That's like
it's a tree
of the forest.
It's one of the best trees you'll ever see.
It's like amazing. We want a minute, you know, I'll put a picture somewhere here. Here. Or here.
Okay. Great.
Somewhere. I'll put that picture.
Oh man.
Right.
But all right,
yeah,
so
let's touch that before we move on to the Violet.
Violet, you know what? I'm gonna say here and say, even though they got eliminated, it was 6-2 on aggregate. For those of you that don't know, aggregate means you played more than one game, right?
Yeah.
So it's the cumulative scores. They played 1 home, 1 away. Against Leon, who are a good Liga MX team, a good Mexican team, right? Usually the Mexican teams and the MLS teams are the best teams in this competition and hard to beat, right? Violet, they are not playing in their home country of Haiti.
Yeah.
They are playing in the DR. So their home games are not home games,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Because of everything that we covered.
Yet they still managed to beat Austin.
Yes.
And then lose to Austin in the second game.
Yeah.
But
when they didn't even have like all the players.
Where they had 14 players that come.
Yeah.
So, but they still won on aggregate.
Yeah.
So they beat an MLS team and advanced. And then they went and lost on aggregate, but they beat Leon in the DR.
Yeah.
2-1. So for a Haitian team, no Haitian team has ever advanced. So no Haitian team has ever done what they did against Austin, right? And moved on in this competition ever. So not only did they move on, they moved on while playing an MLS team and beat a Mexican side team.
Yeah. You know what I hate about
good, man.
You know what I hate about this? Those that although with that performance, it's rare that you're gonna see like good clubs go out and buy some of those players. It may not happen because we talked about how some of those players had like real jobs on the side.
Yeah, the one that I really want to talk about here is, I'm gonna assume he pronounces his name like you. It's missing an E, but Miché.
Yeah, they speak French and Asian, so it'll be the same name, Miché.
Okay, so Miché Sherry or Sherry.
I don't know. The
I think they were pronouncing it Sherry.
Yeah, I think the thing their French is like, what do they call it?
Creole.
They mix French with like their language, so I can hear when they talk, but not all of it. Yeah.
25-year-old striker from Haiti, obviously. This guy played 4 games in the Concacaf Champions League, which was, again, 4 games, all against either 2 games against the MLS team and 2 games against the Liga MX team.
Yes.
Right? The top.
So good competition. Yeah.
Competition. Yeah. In this tournament. Played 4 games, scored 4 goals. Someone's got to pick him. Austin, pick him up. You can't buy a goal right now. LA Galaxy, pick him up.
Yeah.
Toronto.
I was going to say Toronto. Yeah.
Anybody. RSL, pick him up.
You said anybody. Montreal.
Pick him up.
With that trade.
Honestly, I would have been happier if the Sounders picked him up instead of Eber. Because Eber, all of our strikers now for Seattle are over 30 years old.
Yeah. You said he's 28, right?
25.
Oh.
Bring him in.
Dang.
He's proven he can score against the best competition in North and Central America.
SKC.
Anybody.
SKC, bro. You trying to save your...
Nashville can't score right now. Their leading goal scorer is their number 10. Nashville could.
San Luis better get him. If
St. Louis don't need him. The St. Louis don't need him.
I was saying they need him to get that. Team will be all attack.
But Miche, Sherry,
I don't know how to
needs
say.
to be.
Yeah, we'll figure. Yeah,
I don't care if you and me got to start our own team and buy him.
let's do that.
Right? But this guy, he needs to be in one of the two best leagues in the continent.
I say SKC.
He shouldn't be playing in.
SKC needs to get him or Montreal.
And I say he shouldn't be playing in Haiti. He's not even playing in Haiti because the Haitian league hasn't been playing in 18 months because of violence in the country, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you have to see. So don't even think of him as like just a good soldier. I'll get him because of his mental. Because with everything going on,
this without playing for a year and a half,
with all of going on, he hasn't played for a year. Everything that's going on in this country, we don't know what's going on with his family. He probably has a freaking real job on the side, and then he's playing, dodging bullets, going to countries, doing whatever, and he's scoring goals.
I'll tell you what, if
just make him comfortable. Get him an apartment with pillows and let him play. This man, like,
give him a memory foam mattress.
Yeah, this man will play for real. Please get him on your team. All right.
If August comes and goes and he had not gotten picked up in that window by an MLS team or a Liga MX team,
it's a crime.
Someone failed.
It's a crime.
Someone failed.
All right, awesome. So let's go ahead and move on here to LAFC. That's LAFC played Vancouver, and they said Vancouver.
I love that one.
You know what? I just want to tell y'all, he came out with that.
We had an argument. He didn't appreciate it enough, and I was mad. I wanted my greatness recognized.
I thought it was cool. I just didn't think it was worth like a call in the middle of the night. Hey, bro, I just read this. Great job.
Second, you said at 2 a.m. That at least a text. At least a text,
bro. This is the best thing I've ever saw. Vancouver, because they mopped the floor with them, right?
Man, that was
mopped the floor. Molly Watt
6-0 on aggregate. Both games.
Trying to use other terms.
Both games, home and away. LAFC won
3-0. Knew Vancouver wasn't gonna win. I think we said it.
Oh, we knew that they wouldn't win, but 6-0 on aggregate.
At least he wasn't 13.
Should we just give LAFC the trophy?
At least he wasn't 13.
Okay, yeah. That's true. Yeah, at least they didn't have to go up against the U.S. Whereas national.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
could be worse.
Could be worse. Good job. Good job. All right, so that's what happened there. Anything you want to add on that, or are you ready to move on?
No, I'm good to move on.
All right, so Philly handled their business, and it looks like we're going to have the Philly facing LAFC in a semi.
We are guaranteed an MLS team in the Concacaf Champions League final.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
LA or Philly?
You know what? If this was a one-off game, right? Like it was just one game, I would say Philadelphia would move on. But the fact that it's an aggregate, I think LAFC can win.
Can we say that this game has more implication to it than just the Concacaf?
No, I wouldn't go that far.
For real?
Because Philadelphia are struggling in MLS because of this competition, most likely.
Yeah.
LAFC are flying in both competitions. It doesn't matter to them. They're just dominant. But I don't think that, especially since they play in different bracket, like different conferences.
No, I'm saying because of last year.
Oh, because of the final?
Yeah.
I still don't think so.
You don't think they're gonna use that juice a little bit?
I think Philadelphia is going to put everything into this regardless of who they played in the final of MLS Cup last year, because they're struggling already in MLS, in their domestic league, and they are in an advanced stage of this tournament. So I think no matter what, they got the fuel. And I don't think their opponent matters here. I think they know we have to justify having a bad start to regular season
by getting a Concacaf. Yeah, you're right.
And LAFC, I don't think they care who they play, whether they beat them before or not.
Yeah.
They're just on one right now.
Yeah, for sure. All right, okay, so Tigres. I love their name. I just want to bring that up.
I'm proud of you. Last time you were very set on calling them
Tigers.
Tigers, yeah. Tigers. Tigers.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of you. You're growing.
I'm gone. All right, cool. So it looks like they handle their business as well.
Man, so the first leg against this Motagua team, and Motagua is a very good Honduran team. Probably outside of the Liga MX and MLS teams in this competition, they are historically the next best team.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're just always very good in this. And they won the first, or not won, they had the first leg at home, and they lost 1-0. Right? And I think we talked about it a couple episodes ago, or maybe last episode, that Tigres were going to advance, right? Tigres are not going to lose a 1-0 lead going in, playing in Mexico, right? Like, they're going to win. They'll probably win 1 or 2 goals, right?
Yeah.
But they're not going to lose to Motagua.
Yeah.
I did not expect them to put a nickel on them, right?
Hold this for a second.
Like 5 cents, man. Like that's
You want a high five?
man. So, and a lot of that came late this game. Okay, so sure, Gignac, who formerly played in a World Cup for France.
Yeah.
Gignac, sorry.
Gignac, yeah. I thought that was a different
Gignac, yeah, no, Gignac. He scored in the 27th minute, and that's cool, right? You're thinking, all right, game done.
Yeah.
And then he scored again in the 66th minute, and you're like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I'm down.
Cool. And good. Well, Tigres decided that they were going to score in the 83rd, 88th, and 90th minute.
Let's just put 3 more.
Whew. 3 goals in the last 10 minutes.
That's so devastating.
Really, in the last 7 minutes.
That's so devastating.
And the ref, he put on the board 1 minute of added time. And he blew the whistle after about 45 seconds.
He was done. He's like, ain't no chance y'all coming back on this far.
This was dominance. And when I say dominance, I mean Motagua didn't have a shot on target this game. Tigres had 12. Tigres had 69% possession. They almost doubled the amount of passes Motagua had. Motagua made 234 passes. Tigre, 533.
You're not playing around.
Right? Motagua's pass accuracy, 73%, which means your midfield is doing things in Tigres, right?
Yeah.
You're disrupting it. You're not letting them get clean passes. Tigres pass accuracy, 87%.
And now we talking.
Every single category here, Tigres dominant. It was just impressive. And it
Sure, damn, yeah, we're not on your level.
If you ask me, the favorite, it's going to be tight between them and LAFC, in my opinion. I don't know who's better.
To hoist the trophy.
Yeah, I don't know who's better here, but
you think LA will make it to the final?
yeah, we'll get to that. But
Okay.
yeah,
you were
I think
kinda give.
I did. I think it's obvious.
All right, awesome, cool. So that's pretty much it. So we're going to make some semi-final production here, because this pretty much guarantees us MLS versus La Liga MX final, and that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, no, I mean, doesn't pretty much do it, does it? There's no way in which there is not an MLS Liga MX. And that's cool. I love that. That's what you want to see from this tournament.
Yeah, for sure. All right, awesome. So semi-final prediction, go.
Let's see here. So we're gonna start with the Philly Union LAFC. On aggregate, 3-1 LAFC, but it'll be a 1-1 in Philadelphia and then a 2-0 in LA. So it'll be a close one. You good, man? You breathing real loud.
I'm good. It's Sandy. Just he don't want to leave me alone. I'm thinking.
So that's my 3-1 on aggregate.
Okay. All right. For me, I think Philly wins. Philly moves forward,
Okay.
and I think it's 2-0 fair, where they score 1 on the first game and they score 1 the next game.
Okay.
It's gonna be like late goals. That's what I'm thinking.
That'll be interesting.
Because I'm thinking LA is probably confident that we beat them,
That'll be interesting.
and they may get revenge.
All right.
Right.
So Tigres versus who did I end up playing here? Leon. Tigres Leon. I have that. I mean, Tigres, they're going through.
Yeah, Tigers.
I don't know if it's going to be by 1 goal or by 8 goals. Right? Again, Leon is a better will be better competition, or should be better competition than Motagua is.
Yeah,
But I just don't see anything other than
Tigres
maybe
going through. Yeah,
2-goal win here in aggregate, winning by 2. I don't know.
I think that's a little low because Tigres has been doing.
But it will be against a team that plays them in league, knows them, has played against them, will
So
understand.
they're probably not gonna go.
They'll
bonkers,
they'll have a better strategy, I think. So I think it'll be a little closer.
Okay, cool. I'll say Tigres still passes on aggregate. I'll say 3. Now that you've said all that, I'm going 3-2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that gives you a Tigres Philadelphia final.
Yes, and
Who do
you
you
get.
get
I think with everything you said about Philly, and I think the coach Jesse kind of
Jim.
Jim. Oh, I thought I called him Jesse. Jim Curtin is probably thinking the same thing, because I saw him in Cincinnati. Team wasn't performing well. He was calm. I think that man has something up his sleeve. It's also his contract year, so I think Philly hoists the trophies.
What's the score? It'll be aggregate.
Aggregate 3-2.
3-2.
3-2.
Okay.
Yeah. Because Tigers is not going to go down easy.
No.
Yeah.
That's what was Gignac. But so my semifinal that I predicted here, or my final that I predicted here, is going to be LAFC versus Tigres. Man, this is a tough one.
Yeah. Tigres.
I think both teams will win at their home. So I think
it's whoever scores the most.
Yeah. So I think Tigres playing in Mexico is something that LAFC haven't really done. They haven't had to experience that hostile environment.
It'll be a tough place to win.
That's different.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why they need to take their business at home.
Vancouver, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking when I don't know if it's going to be a first leg, second leg that they play in Mexico, but that is going to be a shock for them, and I think Tigres will end up winning the trophy.
They better take care of business at home if they don't want it to play out that way.
Now, I do think, though, if Philadelphia ends up going past LAFC, I do agree with you that I think Philadelphia will hoist the trophy, but I just don't see them getting past
LAFC.
But I do think they will have a better odds of beating teams.
They might. All right, awesome. That puts it in for our prediction. Looks like we are at the end of our show. Coach, anything you want to say to the good people of the FP family?
No.
Jeez. All right, this guy, I don't know what's going on with him this morning.
Spoken for an hour and 10 minutes now.
All right, awesome. Hey, it was great bringing you guys this show. Please feel free to reach out to us. Email us at prophetspod@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at prophetspod, and you can always listen to us on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify, guys. We are excited that you're here. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Coach?
Good stuff, man.